Welcome to the Sterilization Station. This is your host, Bill Rochelle, for another great episode here. Really excited to be back on the air doing another episode to empower, encourage, motivate, and inspire those in sterile processing. And today's episode is really all about transformation, how artificial intelligence is reshaping sterile processing as we know it. From identifying instruments to building surgical trays, AI is stepping up where overwhelm was once stood. So, today our guest is Etay Gafni, a healthcare technology leader and also a founder of LayerJot, a company that's pioneering AI-powered, innovations like SID and Easy Tray to make SPD teams faster, smarter, and more accurate. So whether you're a tech on the front lines or managing a busy department, this conversation will show you how AI isn't here to take over. It's here to help you to do your job better and safer. And so definitely want to just welcome you to the show and really glad to have you on today.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. Glad to be here.
And me as well. I've been really looking forward to this episode. I remember, meeting you on LinkedIn, seeing and hearing about the products that you offer. We even got on a phone call, was able to get a demo. And so just really excited to bring this to the sterilization station, to the viewers. And so I'm really, really excited. So maybe if you could just take a second to just tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start LayerJot and how did you recognize sterile processing as a space ripe for innovation?
Yeah, excellent. So I started with my co-founder, Soren Harner, LayerJot, almost 7 years ago. And we were building technologies that allow people, especially in the workforce, to do their job better by overlaying information on the physical world. So using augmented reality, VR, AR, assisted reality. And we were looking for different solutions for different problems people had. So we had a chance to be invited to an SPD department for our open day for learning about their challenges, and we looked and we've been through that, and we just fell in love with the problems, and especially with the team that was working in the SPD, doing this amazing job, amazing people to just have a lot of challenges that we felt that we can assist with. So the philosophy behind LayerJot is that we would like to bring tools that guide and verify, that help you do your job and just make sure the quality is good. And when you look at the technicians at SPDs, they have to memorize a lot of information about surgical instruments. They have to be able to identify hundreds, if not thousands, of different instruments. And we are as human, it's really hard to do that. Coming from the technology side, building large databases and enterprise system, but also a lot of experience in computer vision and e-learning and other things. So we thought that we have here a challenge that we would like to take on. Beside the good karma and really helping the workforce, for us, it's how can we apply the technologies that will have an impact, not just financially, but also patient outcome, workload on the workforce, and just, build something that is useful, not another, ad technology or something like that that utilize computer vision, AI, and a lot of information.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, sterile processing is such an interesting department, and to see some of the technologies that are coming out and then to learn of your technology and the impact that it's having on sterile processing it's just really amazing. What was the biggest technical challenge in building LayerJot's instrument recognition AI aspect?
Yeah, that's a great question. We had a couple of key challenges. One is access to accurate information about the instrument themselves, just, text-based descriptions, right? There are different descriptions from different manufacturers for the same instruments, a lot of equivalence, a lot of issues with, is this the same instrument? What is the function of these instruments compared to another? And, what's the difference between a scissor and a forceps? Sometimes it's really hard to know. So things like that were kind of a baseline for understanding the utility. And then from a computer vision perspective, back then when we started, there were different technologies, not like today for computer vision. And one of them was kind of template based. And the challenge, especially with surgical instruments, is that if you take scissors, for example, they may be closed and they may be open, right? They may be upside down or turn over, so they have multi-states. It's not something you can predict. So building computer vision solutions for environment that people are involved and it's not industrial, meaning you're not observing assembly line, is totally different than what the technology was there before. So we had to come up with new technologies and new ways to do things. And also all kind of computer vision models that came out
Mm.
were not covering surgical instruments. You know, Google and Meta and all of these guys spend billions of dollars of learning how to recognize different type of dogs and cats. But no one spends the same amount of time understanding surgical instruments, right? It's too niche. And then on top of that, when you're looking from a computer vision perspective at these instruments, many of them are shiny, curved metal objects with very small differences. Sometimes it's just the number of teeth you have at the edge, or the color, or some other things in the handle that is different. So it was really, really challenging to build the right computer vision models that allow us to really accurately identify instruments in a percentage that is much higher than humans at this point.
Wow. So in other words, it's very complex.
And it's very hard, yes. And just for people to understand, it required, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of photos of surgical instruments to build the computer vision models. And because we have a lot of engagement with our tools by seed, and we can talk about some of the product that out there, our models are keeping improving as we have more instruments that we see or our cameras observe and identify. So it's always learning. But also, we have a dedicated team of SPD technicians, senior technicians that help us verify, have a human in the loop to verify that what the algorithms and what the computer vision models are replying is actually correct. And especially when we're learning more and more new instruments, we need to make sure we categorize them correctly. And for that, we have human experts that actually assist us with that.
That's really amazing. So it's like 360 degrees in every object. So you're really trying to capture that. To capture that whole object, you have to almost hit it at every angle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean because we spend long weekends and nights in different SPDs, learning new instruments, building technologies that allow us to capture the 360 as you describe, or the dome, the instruments from all direction, building object detectors or all kind of tools that allow us to zoom in and identify area of interest in the instrument. For example, if there is a barcode, how to zoom on the barcode automatically, or if there is a skew etched on it, or if there is a damage, how to look into it. So we developed about 6 different techniques and technologies to do that. Many of them have evolved and, with some new tools got, obsolete very quickly. However, the model itself keep improving and getting better. And again, one of the challenges we have is that we are dealing with such a niche area that you cannot take something off the shelf. We did experiments, for example, with the latest ChatGPT and Gemini and others. You show it a picture of a surgical instruments, and it can pretty much tell you what category it is, but it doesn't tell you exactly what it is. And as you know, assembling trays, just knowing it's a forceps is not good enough for many couches, right? So taking the extra mile and really identify the instrument, not in a 80% accuracy, but really in the top 97 plus percent accuracy, this is where a lot of our intellectual property and hard work went to in order to provide really the value to the people that uses it, to have the confidence that they identify the instruments correctly, and then associate relevant information about this instrument that help them with their task.
Just out of curiosity, what gave birth to the name LayerJot as the company name?
So the idea was, again, coming from the guide and verify principle, is that we would like to layer JOT information on top of physical objects. So we started with augmented reality, where we developed applications for smart glasses that allow you to do things like you could look at things and you can count it automatically, or you can identify surgical instruments using smart glasses. Unfortunately, smart glasses are always 3 years ahead. Like they will be popular in 3 years. Every year it's 3 years. So we have pivoted from a technology perspective into different techniques like using mobile phones and tablets, using different computing devices and high quality cameras. But definitely when smart glasses will be there and will be popular, we have the right technology to apply that. But again, it's just layering knowledge on top of physical objects, and that's LayerJot.
Yeah, that's really good. That's pretty cool. Thank you for explaining the company name. That was I'm just a person that likes to know about names and
Sure.
really intrigued by why people choose the name that they choose. And so now just out of curiosity, I was curious too is so with the different products and that you guys are offering through LayerJot, like what are some of the products that you're offering and then what are the pain points that these products are addressing in sterile processing or surgical services?
Okay, great. So let me use the layer metaphor
Sure.
and layer it out, right? So the first layer is our catalog. So we have a catalog of surgical instruments, over 3.5 million instruments there. We spend a lot of time and effort building the catalog, cleaning the information, aligning the information across, the different sources, but also taking high quality photos of these instruments, allowing people to access this information. I always remember one of my first visits to the SPD when I saw a traveler that did not know a specific instrument. He basically Googled the SKU, got the wrong answer from eBay with the wrong picture, and he just said, "Oh, okay," and then continue assembling the tray. And that was kind of a moment for me to say there has to be a better way. So on
Mm,
top of this catalog, we build SID, the Surgical Instrument Directory, that really becomes kind of the better than Google for surgical instruments. It's a tool that you can do a text search to find an instrument. You can search by category or classification or size or whatever. But more importantly, you can use the camera. If you're using a phone, for example, you can scan a barcode or scan the SKU or even recognize the instrument by its shape. And then you get access to accurate information. Many of the instruments have checklists for inspections. Many of them have links to IFUs from the manufacturer website. So it's really kind of the surgical instrument world in your hand, right? You have access to all of that information and it's on your PC or on your mobile phone. And we give this tool for free to the community. And as you know, there is about 100,000 different surgical techs in the US. There is a lot of shortage in different departments where there is a lot of turnover. So having a tool that has access to all this accurate information is very important for onboarding and for helping people, on the third shift to be able to assemble a tray and know all the right information about that specific instrument. So
yeah,
that's kind of seed product. Yeah.
yeah, and I love it because when you first told me about it, I like literally ran out, downloaded it, had everyone get it. We started playing around with it, and I was just totally blown away by this technology. I mentor hundreds of students. I'm active at different sterile processing schools. Every time I meet a student, I'm telling them you need to get this because it's
Yeah.
such a great tool. It's exciting. So if you're a sterile processing department out there at school, make sure you have make sure you have SIT. I think is it 4.0 now, 5.0? What are we on now?
Yeah, we are 4.0. Yeah, so one of the things that we added to seed this year, the latest version, which is free on the app stores, Android and Google, and you can get it from our layerjot.com website or just search for it on the app store. One of the key feature we added right now is the ability to scan count sheets. And what does it
Yes.
mean? You can basically take a photo of the count sheet in front of you, and we're using AI again to read the count sheet and to understand, because every system has a different structure of a count sheet, and some people have no count sheet, digital count sheets, or they are not don't have a tracking system. So we build this mapping capability that allow us to recognize the instruments in the count sheet, and then you get all of these instruments listed for you, ready for you on SID on the mobile phone. So yeah, then you can go one by one and access all the information across all the instruments you have on that page of the count sheet. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and we get great feedback for that because people sometimes don't have PCs next to that. They're working with a paper count sheet. So that really gives them access to accurate information, regardless of whatever tracking system they have or don't have. So that's kind of seed, and it's free. And our goal is to keep it free forever. Working with assembly, we've been working with Steris on some solutions on that. They show some of the solution in the recent SPA, but basically it's allowing integration and of information and scanning abilities into SPM, and I'll let them talk more about it when they decide to. And then, but we got a lot of requests from people saying, "Hey, but I don't have a digital count sheet system." So we just released in HSPA another product which we call CountSheet AI, And CountSheet AI is basically a count sheet management system. It's not a tracking system. It's just a way for you to manage your count sheet and output a nice looking PDF that you can print, that you can scan with Seed and get access to all the information. And more importantly, you can have accurate information and description of the instruments in your count sheets. It's layered on top of the Seed catalog. So all the information is clean and accurate, and many of these have pictures. So you can use the tutor function of it to basically train people on this count sheet. They can learn in the facility or even at home. It's a web-based solution, no installation, so they can get familiar with the trays before they come to work. So CountSheet AI kind of give you this easy, very affordable system for managing your count sheets. And you can get it again on our website, register. We even help you transform some of your current count sheet into the new model. Another key value of CountSheet AI is the ability to improve the information and enrich the information of your count sheet. We see a lot of count sheets that have missing information. They have a vendor SKU, but the description is too short or it's just, misleading. With CountSheet AI, you can choose whether to use the description you currently have or align it with the catalog from Seed. So slowly you can start improving the descriptions of elements in your count sheet. And then the next thing you can do, you can use our mobile app that is Tray Inspector to actually compare physical instruments in the tray to the instrument listed in the count sheet. And
Nice.
you know better than I that if you have 5 instances of the same, let's say major hand tray that has 64 instruments in the count sheet, and you look at 5 different instances of that tray, you're going to have so many variation of equivalents, wrong instruments, missing instruments, all of that. And what Tray Inspector app allows you to do is really to go line by line or scan instruments individually, and it will tell you which instrument it matched in the count sheet. And if it doesn't match directly, you can say this is an equivalent of that specific instrument in the count sheet and how similar it is, because some doctors, some surgeon may want to say, I would like to use only exact equivalents, or some would say, I would like to use exact vendor. So this tool allows you to do that and get a report across all of your trays of what actually in the tray compare what's in the count sheet. So we have teams using it and different consulting organizations starting to use it. And it's a very powerful tool of a reality check of what do you actually have compared to what you have listed in the count sheet.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
that's.
kind of count sheet AI. Yeah.
I want to go back to SID 4.0 real quick, just for a second. I'm curious. So, if you are at a computer, if you do have a computer station, are most hospitals that are utilizing SID 4.0 on a computer, do they have some form of a handheld scanner, or do they have to scan the count sheet into the system? How are they able to scan? I mean, is it like, how are they scanning the count sheet into the system?
So if you're using a PC, you can upload a PDF as a file.
Okay.
And that's it. If you're using Seed on a PC, you can connect a webcam. Most computers in the SPDs are not latest and greatest, right? And the webcams may not be good. So for highest performance, we prefer mobile devices at this point, but you can definitely use it on a PC as well. We are working on some versions that will have more kind of a workstation feel to it, that will have high quality camera connected or a mobile scanner in which you can scan with your phone and get result on your PC. But most of our users either use it on the PC to do text search and upload PDFs of count sheets, or using a mobile device to actually recognize instruments using the camera phone.
This is great. And you mentioned that currently you guys are in a partnership with Steris's tracking system SPM. Is that you plan on branching into other integrating with other tracking systems?
Currently, we are with Steris SPM.
Nice. That's really cool. That's awesome.
And then the last layer is basically the holy grail, as far as we can tell, is how can we help the industry to be less drama driven and be more data driven, and that's really around utilization, because it's a known secret that the trays are too big with too many instruments, and as soon as you try to do tray trimming and you ask different staff, surgeons or nurses or technicians. What can we take off the tray? Usually you ended up with three more instruments in the tray. So how do you go about and do tray trimming on a way that is scalable? So for that, we announced in HSPA our OR Stats solution. So OR Stats is a combination of hardware and software. It's an observation tower. It's basically a cart that you can roll into the OR that has an iPad on it and a high quality camera. And it observes what is happening on the Mayo stand. And it can look at the back table as well. But just to simplify things, let's talk about the Mayo stand for a second. So the surgery starts, we know what instruments were prepared because the instruments are in the count sheets and the trays were, went through the tray inspector and we know all the equivalents and all of that. And whatever is placed on the Mayo stand is marked as intended to be used. And then, without any interruption to the workforce, either surgeons or the nurses or the techs, you passively capture all the instruments that were intended to be used. So, unlike analyzing all the instruments before and taking them off the stringer or doing a surgical count at the end and trying to figure out what was used, not used, all of the observation is done during the procedure itself. And when the procedure is done, you just click stop. You can analyze these photos to see if you want to review or change anything. And then the AI just spit out a report of saying what was used compared to what was prepared for that surgery. And then over time, you can start thinking about what can I trim, what can I put in a pill pack, what can I put in an extra smaller tray. And you can slice and dice the information per procedure, per demographic of the patient, per surgeon. And what we are doing is giving you the data and giving you the analytics tool. And then every facility can decide what is their preference or tolerance or, their procedure to do that. Some may be very conservative and will not like to move a lot, but many of them can move more. And then what's become interesting is that you can start applying standardization of trays across hospitals, across IDNs.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a hospital in a rural area that would like to know what is the best, major hand tray out there, and you can get them help of saying this is exactly what you need because we analyze, let's say, 1,000 surgeries, and this is the set that we have high confidence that is mostly used. So that's kind of where we're going with the OR stats, and it's a very exciting product. And when we demoed it in HSPA, people thought it was like black magic, right? They just placed the instruments on the tray and it told them what it is, and they were just trying to futz with it and trying to, put it quickly, take it away, and all kind of things that make it very playful. But this is exactly the type of user experience we are building. We would like to build a transparent, invisible user experience that does not interfere with your work, that actually just add value, add knowledge, add data to decision making without interfering with the current processes. Because SPD and definitely the OR are a high pressure environment, and our goal is to assist. It's not to cause more work for these amazing people that work there.
I really appreciate you taking the time to answer those questions because there's so many pain points that are being addressed through all the products that you offer, from instrument identification to inefficient tray assembly, the lack of real-time instrument tracking, the high cost of overprocessing, overstocking, complexity in staff training, poor documentation. It's like Robin Hood shooting the arrow in the arrow, right? It's like every time you hit an arrow, another one comes right dead center. So I think that all of the products that you guys are offering and just the having an opportunity to meet a few of your team members and talk to you, just the feeling you get when you speak to LayerJot, you always feel like you're number one. They're prioritizing you, so they have great customer care and attention. So I just really appreciate everything that you all are doing for the industry, and especially all these pain points that you're really addressing, which is this is something that's servicing sterile processing, and so it's really awesome to see all the time, the attention, and how you really, hitting the market right in the heart of something that's really needed. So I think this is just wonderful.
I appreciate it. We try to look at the system, the whole flow of instruments from decon to maintenance to cleaning, to, to assembly, sterilization, setup in the OR, utilization, back to decon. So it's kind of a magic circle, never-ending infinity, plus all kind of loaners and other solutions that we can talk about maybe next time. But the idea is that individuals in the SPD have a critical role in this whole process. And in order to make sure that the surgeon can take care of the patient outcome, we need to make sure they have what they need exactly in the right condition at the right time. And building a solution that help individuals on the knowledge level, like SID, and then with tray assembly process, and then be able to maybe reduce the trays by 30 to 50%. So you reduce the time that it takes to process them, reduce the load, and maybe allow more people to do inspections and other things that are more time consuming, but people don't have time to do it right now. So all of that needs to be addressed in a systematic way. And for the last 6 years or 5.5 years, we've been building the technology capability that will allow us to support each layer as we go from the static catalog all the way to the OR. And yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, and that's really great. Someone's out there thinking right now is what steps does LayerJot take to ensure the hospital data privacy and when you think about regulatory compliance, how does LayerJot ensure this privacy through the technology that they have?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we are still doing things around the surgical logistics side. So we are not necessarily, we don't have any patient information stored. Users, if they log into the system using Auth0 and some other high-end user management system. So that is all, and all of our technology is running in a secured Google Cloud that meet the highest level of requirements. So all of that is being taken care of. And remember, I've been doing it for a while. We've been building enterprise systems and working in high-end companies. So this is what we do. This is not a side effect of a solution that was looking for hosting. It was built correctly from the ground up.
No, it's great. And you have the experience of a different market that's using the technology and just really saw that there's a sterile processing was really a ripe area that needed to be to have the technology brought to, I guess you could say. I think that's really good. Now, say for instance, someone's watching or they're listening and they're just mesmerized, like I was, with the eyes that are, like they're being hypnotized, right? So you're mesmerized and you're like, okay, so where do I start? Say someone's interested in SID 4.0 or using the count sheet AI or even getting into you know like you mentioned the technologies that allow them to take photos in the OR and see which instruments were used. How do they start the process? Like what's the process for a new customer? Like what's the onboarding of a new customer, and then how would they get in touch with you or your company if they're interested?
Excellent. So first of all, every person can go to our website, layerjot.com, and access SID. You will have links to the App Store in which you can download the app or you can register on the PC on the website. So that's very simple. Just get SID. Start with that, right? It's free, no barrier. Just start using it. You can go to the Count Sheet AI on the website, and then we offer a free trial for 30 days. So you can register. You can even upload, three of your the count sheets that you hate the most, your worst count sheets, right? Or the best count sheets, the bestseller count sheets. You can upload three of them, and we will create you a user that you can onboard your team, and we'll even put the first three count sheets in the system for you. Later on, you will be able to import and add, or you can ask us to take all of your old count sheet and put it in the system for you. We are willing to do that. And again, just through our website. As for OR stats, again, on the website, there is a waiting list for some activities there. And just contact us and we'll be happy to get back to you, show you more detailed demos, talk about the technology, prerequisite. And one of the things that is unique about OR stats is that we know that different surgery, different procedures may have different room sizes, different requirements, different setup. So we are very open to accommodate these different settings. So having a discussion with us, getting us with the OR director or the surgical team is important for us to be able to understand is the solution we have is the right solution for you and what to expect. And then we usually offer to start with a pilot on a specific surgery that is currently a pain point. We have people who are interested in surgeries that are high volume, like cataract. We have other people that says we would like to start with surgeries that we have a pain point, like ortho, that the trays are very heavy, and we would like to reduce these trays first. So it really depends of what is your pain point, and then we can assign or build the right experience for you using OR stats. But just a website, keep it simple.
That's great. That's really great. And then if someone is sitting there with some burning questions and they're just dying to talk to you, how can they reach you? Is there an email or can they find you on LinkedIn or how can they get in touch with you personally?
Yeah, just look me up in LinkedIn, connect with me, or just contact us through the website. I get access to all the people that sends requests through the website, and I'll be happy to connect and talk. Like you said, we have an amazing team that works on building the relationship, helping this amazing community to achieve their goal, helping people to develop in this, like you are doing, giving them access to information. We've been working very closely with Beyond Clean, for example, and then on Seed, you have access to all the CE credits that they offer. You can use Seed as your podcast app and get access to the quizzes that will gain you CE credits. So we're all about the community empowerment. Just get involved, learn new instruments in Seed, tell us what we're missing, talk to us, send us count sheets. We really like to get involved with your facility and help people individually as well.
That's phenomenal. I'm really excited because this is so great. All this information and all the resources that different ones will be able to get access to. So I really appreciate you taking the time to, to share your company vision and the innovations with us today on the sterilization station. You've shown us what's possible when, AI supports, not replacing, but, using the skills and dedication of sterile processing professionals. Created some, obviously created some Kaizen, some change for the better, some improvements. And it's really good to see the impact that it's having on sterile processing, but then to see how it's continuing to grow. So if today's episode got you thinking how you can modernize your SPD workflows, please check out LayerJot.com and make sure you connect with Etay. He's a very likable guy, and you fall in love with him right when you meet him. He's really cool. So please reach out to him if you have any questions, and let's continue to please share this episode with someone, if you're a coworker, someone that that's interested to learn about the technologies. Don't keep it to yourself. Please share with your team, your educator, or a fellow tech, and let's continue to build where technology supports safer surgeries. And of course, we want to make sure we're lowering that stress and sterile processing. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast Sterilization Station. And once again, we just want to thank you for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it.
Take care, everyone. You guys rock.
Thank you.